All right, boss. Adjust your head. Your whole chin is gone.
Oh, for real?
Yes. So either sit up a little higher or some. Okay, that's a little better. All right, go ahead. Do your thing.
What's cracking? What's cracking?
It's
What's
on zero, but
cracking? Oh man,
I'll
I
check.
said,
I'll check Facebook while we're on. We're
okay,
on
cool.
zero. So
Yeah, I
since
gotta
nobody's here yet, let me check and make sure it showed up
in person just to.
because I don't have anybody in the chat to tell me that it's on. So let's see.
All right. Yeah, no, I can see a song. I can see a song. And yeah, I'm trying to tag this person. But she always tell me to tag and I be forgetting.
I always forget to tag people. I feel so bad because they're like, you
Yeah,
said you
me
were
too.
going to, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah, and then they'll text me and be like, "What happened?" I'll be like, "Oh, my bad, my bad." What's crack a lacking? What's crack a lacking?
Okay, we got four, so you can get it going.
Oh, we got four whole people. All right, that's a
Four
bet.
whole people. I don't know where they are because I can't see the live, but
Yeah, I see him. I see something.
it could
What's
be YouTube.
cracking,
I'm
good
not
people?
sure, but they'll
Uh-huh.
chat and see.
Yeah, if you on, say hello. Say say anything. Say we love you. Say what I'm saying.
Mm.
Say anything you want to say. It don't matter.
Yeah, I think it should be okay because I can see the icons are green. Oh,
Okay,
this one is
cool.
okay. So YouTube is green. Okay, I think we're
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah, man. What's good? What's good, people? What's good? This your man Dak. Yeah, my joint is my screen is kind of blurry because I've been my screen is blurry because you know what I'm saying I've been kind of using this for extracurricular activities and
Dad,
huh
what?
oh
What?
oh
Dad, you
dad
ain't got
now
no, bro. You ain't got no Windex or something, man.
I think I'm
Like
all
that
out.
shit, like that shit was some Windex, boy.
I think that might be Vaseline on the joint.
Oh,
Oh Lord, he's just gonna start right in, huh?
What's good? What's good? What's good? This Doc Kim, this Doc Kim, aka the Blurry Man. Yeah. Nah, yeah, I don't think I don't I think the joint I ain't even gonna hold you. I think the joint really is Vaseline. You know what I'm saying? But love y'all. Good to be back. What's good? If you're in the comments, say hi, say what's up, say something so we know you out there. You know what I'm saying? It's your man Doc Kim here with my two beautiful, fabulous, lovely friends, my host tonight. We got an exciting show for y'all. I'm gonna throw the
boy said beautiful.
I knew you were gonna make a face. I knew you were. You're beautiful though. It's
that's how I
okay.
wait for Raw face.
That boy said beautiful.
You're beautiful. I just want you to know.
Damn, I put my glasses on. I got beautiful out this motherfucker.
Going on over there to you good.
Oh man, you know what? Life is good. Life is good. Let me tell you, it's hard. It's messed up in so many areas, but I'm just laughing and smiling about it because life has a sense of humor, and I'm just learning to not take none of this stuff too seriously. So it's it's good, but it's not good, but it's good, but it's
Hey,
not
that's
bad.
good.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I'm happy.
I
I'm happy.
definitely understand.
Yeah. So good to be back on with y'all. And, most of
Likewise.
you know me. If you don't know me, I'm Good Vibes, aka California Love
Love.
too. Anyway, so what's up, Jeezy? What's up, Rob?
What's up, man? Hey, I missed you guys.
I missed you
Soup,
too.
man.
Likewise.
Y'all know what it is, Mr. Keep It 1,000 Wow. We back. So hopefully everybody gonna tune in, have a good time with us tonight. We got some stuff we gonna chop it up about. But go ahead, man. Y'all do y'all thing.
Bud you up, young lady.
All righty. Well, let's jump right into it. Let's go ahead and beat this Lori and Michael B. dead horse like real quick, and then we're gonna jump into Monique and DL because that's a more serious topic. I'm just gonna start off with a disclaimer. I don't know these people. I don't know their life. I don't know why they broke up. It's not really my business. But if the rumor is it's because she didn't want to get married, the internet just blew up. Like they think that she's supposed to want to get married. I don't know if Y'all think that you know Michael B enough to know that he's a catch or he's husband material. She's supposed to want to marry him. Like, I don't know why that dialogue went like it went, because I feel like men say all the time they don't want to get married. You know, they want to be bachelors until they old men sometimes. And, you know, we know this. So when women say, no, I don't want to do that, why is it an issue? So I want to know what y'all think about that. Why would it be an issue for a woman to say the same thing that y'all say to us all the time?
So I kind of feel like it's probably this. I feel like men be feeling like we go through so much different shit in life where we not ready, and then it'd be like when you get ready, the other person not ready. And it might have been a case where, you know, Michael B. Jordan, you know, he might have really felt like he got the win. He was ready, and shit ain't go that way. So now a lot of people are upset, but I think a lot of people are upset because of what I just said. Like, you know, I honestly, for me, I feel like it's 1 year. Like, she might, I mean, if she don't want to get married, she don't want to get married. Now, the problem is where you go with your relationship from there after you already let intentions be known. And I think that's what ended up causing them to split, because of those intentions. Like, I don't think she probably said, I don't want to get married, and I probably don't ever want to get married.
Maybe so, yeah.
And maybe he wasn't cool with that. I mean, it's up to him whether he want to stick around and be on some, I think it'll change, or if he want to just be like, you know what, you got to go do you, and I'm gonna have to do me.
Right.
But it's because they high profile, man. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing some normal shit.
I know. It might not even be true. I just wanted to wrap it up since it was so popular, you know, on social media today. We just,
you know what I'm saying? I look at it like, look, man, I'm Michael B. Jordan. I'm making money. I can have anybody I want. And you have the nerve, the audacity to say you don't want me? Come on, son.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to say that. I'm glad a man said it.
Yeah, look who I am. Forget my ancestors. Forget the other dudes. Y'all always say we never want to commit. Hey, Deanna. What's good, Steven? What's up, EL? Hi, Kiana. You always say men don't want this, men don't want that. Now, here it is. I was on, I think he was rated like sexiest man alive on one of them covers.
I didn't vote, but okay.
And you have the audacity to say you don't want me? Come on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do you know how many women he could actually have? You know what I'm saying?
True.
He could have like 3 generations of women at the same time. The mom and the grandmother.
He could.
And the daughter. You know what I'm saying?
But I wonder did he express intent earlier on? Like, yo, I'm you know, I'm on a date with the intentions to get married or whatever, or whether it was just like some flyby, you know, we go with the flow type of thing. Because if he let his intentions be known, it's partly him, partly her. Partly him, partly her. Partly really his fault because you knew what time shit was and you still like to let it go on, and then fooled yourself into believing that because of maybe arrogance, you thought she was going to change her mind. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, it's all speculation. It's just fun.
Let's keep it 100 though. If a man stick around for a year and he ain't cheating, he's really with you for a year, then doesn't that say intent? That says I really want.
Okay, I thought we weren't gonna guess that if a man didn't say that's what he wanted, we weren't gonna assume that because he's doing manly stuff or husbandly stuff that's what he wants. We're not doing that anymore. So that means nothing.
I would say this.
I'm gonna hold my comment later.
It's probably a good thing you don't assume.
I don't assume that.
I can tell you right now, don't assume, because most of the folks I know, including myself, we don't do assumptions. You best be saying something.
Exactly.
Fellas in the comment, dang, yeah, I'm gonna stop using Vaseline, man.
Man, because listen, I don't want to hear y'all know me. You knew what it was from jump. I don't want to hear that ever again in my life. Never. And I was, how old was I when that happened? I was.
Do that hurt y'all? Do that like hurt y'all feelings real bad?
That hurt my feelings. I think I was 18 and we were kicking it for like 2 years. Everybody knew us and thought we were a couple. And we were in the car together going to pick up some weed, you know, and it was a bunch of us together, all crammed in somebody little hoopty. And I said something to him and he was like, "You ain't my girl." You knew what
Mm,
this was from jump. And I was like,
mm,
Wow.
oh, that's what we
mm.
doing? You was washing your clothes
Wow.
at my house and I was giving you food to take home and I was doing, you know, I was like, okay, I'll never assume ever again in my life. So yes, it hurt my feelings. I'm still scarred. So
Some
I
women
don't I
still
don't
be the
make those
same way
assumptions.
even when you tell them.
Right, exactly.
That's my
So it's
story right there. Generally, it's I tell them, and it still
mhm.
be the same shit, man.
That's
That's
not
why
your fault then. That's
that's
hers.
why that's why a lot of times when I be seeing posts and shit about transparency, a lot of times I see through the years being transparent and shit, I got the same treatment the motherfuckers who wasn't being transparent was getting. So I'm like, but the good thing is you can't never tell me that I ain't keep that shit real with you.
That's
I
right.
ain't changing because you let these motherfuckers slide and you on my fucking head about the shit.
Right.
I don't, at the end of the day, I feel like you gotta be really ready to kind of just deal with a lot of different things, man. And that's probably where a lot of people just struggle at, is just dealing with a lot of different shit.
I
And
hear you.
that might be what their problem was.
I
Mhm.
mean, it could have been. Like I said, again,
Right.
it's all speculation. We don't know these people. We just, think it's a good topic to discuss since people were heated about it, and I was just
Right.
surprised by the whole heat. I was like, okay, people do decide they don't want to. Like what?
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyway, because if he didn't, I know that the same thing Dak is saying is what will be said. He could have anybody he wants. He's an eligible
Yep.
bachelor. He's rich. If he don't want to
Yep.
get married yet, why would he get married when he has all these women that he could, So I was just like, well, she's beautiful, young, and successful too, and she got time to run through whatever she want to run through. Like, what was the issue? But
But
anyway,
let's be real though. If the homie hadn't started talking about proposing, they would have been talking shit on about that. They would have been
right,
saying, "Oh, like especially because they high profile, so it made it seem like they was together longer than what it really was."
that too.
So people was probably already at 6 months. Like, I wonder, is he gonna get married? 6 months, bro.
Right.
Like, come on. They still talking about future shit.
Right.
Right.
We haven't even seen her brush her teeth yet or smelled her past gas yet at 6 months. So you don't know
Shoot,
anything
Right.
about
man.
this person. Okay.
Exactly.
So
All right.
this one's a little more tricky. Monique and DL. So we're not going to talk about the whole contract, the entire thing. We're going to
Mhm.
talk about the last few things. Her bringing up DL's daughter's sexual abuse claims and saying that he didn't stick up or believe his daughter, and the fact that a lot of comedians are coming for her throat right now.
Right.
Have y'all seen that? What do y'all feel about that whole ugly mess that it has turned into?
It truly I'm truly disheartened by her lack of care for this man's daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You never know what will actually trigger somebody, and you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because things are private. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Well, let me rephrase it. DL is being private. You don't know how that triggered his daughter. His oldest daughter. She wrote a very beautiful message about, what I'm saying, Monique talking about her sister. Don't talk about my sister. Don't talk about my family. Basically, she did a Will Smith, keep my family name out your mouth. If you want to have a discussion, I'll give you my address and let's talk. But Monique, in my opinion, she's just looking for, and I see Evelise is saying she needs therapy. I actually think it's a little, initially I thought she needed therapy, but now I think it's just her trying to troll to become relevant again. You know what I'm saying? She has a couple of shows that are coming up. So as long as she keeps her name and keeps this controversy going, when she does her show, I think on the 18th of this month, people will likely buy more tickets because they think it's going to be some controversial stuff, similar to the way they did Chris Rock when all his shows sold out. You know what I'm saying?
What an ugly way to do that. I can't support that. What you think, Rob?
Man, I'm gonna say this. To use what she used, I feel like that shit borderline probably jealousy. like jealousy to a certain extent, because she had to have really had some ill feelings to bring up that man's daughter. Like, just to even be putting that girl through the same thing again, now putting her business out there, and now she got to relive whatever might have happened or whatever did
Yep.
happen. You know, she got to go through that again. And for Monique, of all people, feeling like you being done wrong by people and stuff like that, why would you do a young lady like that? Like, it
Right.
wasn't even that serious, you
Right.
know? So it's kind of like, at a certain point, Monique, I get that you know, you out there and you trying to fight for your name and everything like that, but it's a way you go about doing that. Like,
Mhm.
I understand you probably was at the wits end, you didn't used all the channels you wanted, and you felt like this was a way to get people drawn into your story or to what's going on with you, but not utilizing no man's daughter, especially not no teenager. Like, come on now.
Right. Exactly.
Well, this is one topic we agree on.
Mhm.
As a survivor myself, to have somebody out me, put my business out there, change the
Right.
narrative, don't even know the story. She's
Right.
saying it was a grown man. DL is saying it was a teenage boy, her same age. You know, it's just that's not a good way to use another woman's pain to attack her father.
Mhm.
I can't condone it. I can't swallow it. It's hurtful. It's ugly. It's embarrassing.
Mhm.
And I don't look at her the same anymore. I do understand, you know, being a woman, you get blacklisted sometimes, you might get mistreated, you don't get the same pay. Like Rob said, I understand her fight, but that was one thing. This is something
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is
something
this is
else.
just, it's just terrible. You know what I'm saying? And Rob, you can probably understand this as a man with daughters. For you to even carry the guilt that you may not have protected your daughter in the way that she should have or could have been, that messes with you mentally as well. And for her to do something like that, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm a nobody, but I lost a lot of respect for her. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Agreed.
Mhm.
All
All
right.
right. We're
Let's
gonna move on.
let's parlay it on to what we here to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all follow us on Facebook, you know we've been posting these last few weeks. We've been had some good juicy quotes. We've had some revelations in therapy. We feeling empowered, and we on one right now. So I definitely wanted to discuss this topic, and I really, before we get started, I just want to definitely just celebrate my brother Rob Deasy right now, because brother is glowing, and I'm like so
Yes,
freaking
sir.
happy
Yes,
and
sir.
excited. I could just
I mean,
bust
yes,
out of
ma'am.
my skin, like
Right.
everything you post, how you're explaining your revelation and your thoughts clearing. Like I just, oh my goodness, I'm so in awe and so happy, and just so yeah. So I
Thank
think I
you.
want to start off with you, bro. So tell me how your mental health has been since our last check-in, which was last year.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
No, it was January, I think. Was it January? No, it wasn't January. Was it?
Yeah, I think it
Okay,
was
anyway,
last year.
it's
I
been a
don't
long
know.
time.
We had like a little quick show at one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I struggled most of my life with just different shit, like you know, mood swings, just attention problems, just how I handle shit, all of that, man. So probably like 2017, 18, I got diagnosed with being bipolar. So I
Okay.
got put on a mood stabilizer for that.
Okay.
And you know, I started therapy and stuff like that. Well, I still felt like there was things going on with my body, like I could not explain internally. Like it just always felt like, you know, my nerves were always ignited, and I just couldn't really feel like I could be still. And I ain't talking about just sitting in one place. I mean, just like feel
Yes.
comfortable and relaxed in your own skin. Like I never could feel like that. I always had like racing thoughts. And I know when people hear racing thoughts, they think it's just like, oh, you're thinking about a bunch of shit. Nah, like you gotta mix that with anxiety too. So like,
Yes.
yeah, you're thinking about a lot of shit, but the anxiety, like, oh shit, did I forget this in my car? Oh shit, if I did, the fucking roof gonna rain in the car. Oh shit, did I
Oh
go do
damn.
this?
Oh, you have anxiety like that?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
can I
Okay.
can really,
That's what I'm
yes.
saying. Like, people
Mm-hmm.
really didn't understand like what I was really going through because
Mm-hmm.
you just see the outcome. Like you seen when I just lose my cool or I'm
Mm-hmm.
nonchalant or whatever. You just kind of see that, and I didn't even know. So that's why I don't really blame folks
Uh-huh.
about their responses to my behavior. But
Okay.
going to a recently, I kind of just got to a point where I was like, yo, like my mind is causing me to say and do things that I really probably shouldn't, and then I feel bad about it later. So the
Mm-hmm.
bipolar is coming in at one point for depression, the
Right.
anxiety is coming in of the decisions and what you said. So like there's combinations of shit that are happening. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
my mind literally while I'll be sitting here talking to y'all, I could really literally while I'm talking thinking about three other fucking things. And
Mm-hmm.
out of those three things, one of them might have an impact that might be negative to me. So then the anxiety kicks in of do I do that shit now? Or do I wait to do it? Or do I need to think
Right.
about doing it? Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many different thoughts going through your head.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't just those type of thoughts, like negative thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
entering your mind as well. And they enter in at very alarming rates. For me, they are. So
Right.
like, when honestly, like when people don't call me, I feel like I'm not loved. Or
Mm-hmm.
if people wouldn't respond to me a certain way, I would feel a certain way, like it affected my mood and stuff like that. I think those are the parts that people really didn't never understand about me, and they just feel like, oh, I ain't give a fuck. No, a lot of times through life, I knew this shit about myself. So I didn't want people to have to continue to deal with the impacts of that behavior that I would be exhibiting to folks because
Right.
I didn't know how to deal with stuff like emotions. Like I never was able to really handle emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partly being that I grew up in a household that was not necessarily lovey-dovey,
Mm-hmm.
period. So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up military. My mom and dad were both military, so like their style was kind of real hard. So like there wasn't like any of that type of stuff. So because I'm probably been ADHD and bipolar since a kid,
Mm-hmm.
my mom, and I don't fault them because they did the best they could with the tools they had, but I probably been acting out and stuff all these years. So
Mm-hmm.
it just was a culmination of stuff as I went and I grew and I got older. And then I hit my 20s and, you know, you start going through life as an adult and seeing different shit. And I just started to see different patterns, especially like when it came to relationships,
Mm-hmm.
because my mind is empathetic, but at the same time I gotta protect myself. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like difficult, and I'm protecting myself because I know what I'm struggling with and how
Mm-hmm.
negative thoughts might enter fast and all of that. But I also am empathetic because I never wanted to hurt nobody's feelings. I never wanted to do none of that, stuff that would make people feel that way. Because I wasn't like no, oh, I'm trying to be out here cheating or nothing. I wasn't that type of person. I was
Mm-hmm.
just one like I would feel guilty. Like
Mm-hmm.
guilt would used to weigh on me heavy off the anxiety. Guilt would weigh on me heavy. So if
Mm-hmm.
I said something and we might have ended a phone call the wrong way, like people would think like, oh, he just over there enjoying himself and whatever. No, I'm literally over this bitch anxious than a mud because I'm like, damn, should I have said that? Should I have done this? Should I have did that?
Mm-hmm.
And talking to my therapist, she was like, a lot of that is the culmination of your ADHD being combined with your bipolar, and then
Mm-hmm.
anxiety triggering both sets of your other things. So getting on, just fast forward. So I'm in therapy, and I got diagnosed with ADHD and
Mm-hmm.
general anxiety disorder
Okay.
because like the general anxiety disorder is a lot of times I ain't want to leave the house. I
Mm-hmm.
go out in public and then people see me and they have a good time and shit, but that's a persona. That's a persona to
Mm-hmm.
really protect me, to shield me, to be able to still interact with people. But there's a lot of days I don't want to leave my crib. But then on the flip side, my mind is still playing a trick on me like, oh, well, people don't invite me to nothing, but you don't go to nothing. So, like, why would they keep inviting you if you don't go to nothing? But my mind literally would be taking it personal, like, people don't like me or they don't love me or whatever. So, I'm going to just stay to myself then. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
just going through all of that stuff, man, not knowing how to deal with it. When I went to see my psychiatrist, she put me through some different tests. and found out what was going on and put me on medication. And literally, I would say that when I'm on medication versus not, that shit is like super night and day, like extremely night and day.
So you can definitely tell the difference in yourself. I mean, I can tell the difference in your post. You can tell the difference in yourself.
Yeah. Because like you, first of all, just being able to think clear, like one, I could really identify what I'm really doing in my faults. Like before, like you don't want to get hurt, so you lying to yourself like, oh no, you ain't arrogant. No, motherfucker, you is really arrogant, and you need to really come to terms with that and figure out what areas of life you really are arrogant in and try to correct those. And there would never have been no way, honestly, before I got on my meds, for me to think from that perspective. It wouldn't be me saying you arrogant. It would be me saying, oh, they took it the wrong way, or they didn't know what they're talking about or whatever. But now that I have a clear mind and I can think clearly, it's more of, you know what? Let's analyze what really transpired. So what really transpired is this, and you said that, and you did this. So you got to really understand and deal with what you said. Not, oh, no, I said it. They just took it the wrong way.
Or I was just being honest, or
yeah, and that's another thing that, like, since I've been on my meds, I realized, like, all this time I'd be like, oh, I'm keeping it real, yeah, but like I honestly lack tact a lot of the times. Like I thought I was being very tactful, but I wasn't being tactful. I didn't give a fuck about how nobody else felt, because at the same time, like I said, I'm trying to protect myself, because when my nerves go bad, you can't feel it. So I got to make sure that I'm going to be good at the end of the day. And if that means that your feelings somehow had to get hurt so that I don't have my inner body experience that you can't really see, because I'm about to sit in this bed and I cannot close my eyes because anxiety done took over me and I can't lay here and go to sleep. So I got to get out the bed. And that's like every night. Like literally my therapist was like, it's you got anxiety really bad to the point where you can't even sleep in the bed. You got to sleep in an open room or like in a couch area for some various reason. So like they got to work through that with me. So it's like a lot of different things that really started coming to light. Like you really, what I really wasn't thinking about. I had blamed certain behavior on certain things for so long. And now that I'm medicated and don't have those things happen, I have a choice. I got to start looking at it differently and attacking things differently, because those same variables don't exist anymore. I removed them by taking my medication now. So I can't keep blaming it on something like, oh man, you know, I was this way when I wasn't medicated. Nah, bro, you medicated now. So now you can work on the right stuff. Now therapy really makes sense and it matters now. Like before, it would be, I'll just tell you some shit the next day, like I'm feeling probably the same fucking way and ain't really did nothing. But now, like I can actually go in there, have a conversation, focus on the conversation, and focus on the freaking takeaway. Because a lot of times she'd be like, I want you to do this. I ain't wrote half that shit down. When she hit me up and I go back, I just off the dome. I be doing off the dome shit. And you know, a lot of times I'm probably telling her whatever the fuck I want her to hear. So it sounds like I'm doing better, but I'm really not. So like, you know, the meds made me just really, I feel like, if I was to use the word, like feel normal, like
no, that's what's up. No, that's
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I feel all of it.
Yeah, it just changed the whole.
Thanks for sharing. We're gonna come back to you. I want to just jump to Good real quick to give us an update.
Oh man, my update, like I was telling my my therapist that I'm amused by life right now. Like whether it's good or bad, I'm here, I'm alive. It's still a beautiful experience. Pain, no pain. I'm alive. I can breathe, I can feel. And as Rob was saying, my head was so full of ruminating thoughts and me replaying scenarios that already happened of what I should have done, or scenarios that have never happened yet. I had whole discussions of what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. And these things would be in my head all day, every day. My heart would be beating fast. I'd be breaking out into a sweat. And I thought that was normal, because I've been this way for a long, long time. And I'm the oldest girl of West Indian single mother. So I was the other parent, and I wasn't allowed to be tired. I wasn't allowed to be sad. Depression doesn't exist. She gonna tell me pray it away, or it's my nasty ass attitude and me being a bad child that has me feeling like I'm feeling. So I grew up swallowing my feelings, trying to stay small, trying to stay out of people's way, trying to not anger anybody because, then I wouldn't get love. My mom, when she was angry or mad, she'd leave me alone. Don't talk to me. She couldn't. And I know now that she was probably going through the same thing, but, it was never diagnosed either. So, it's not a shot against her. It's just me unpacking this baggage and realizing that a lot of my fears have to do with the way I grew up, and fearing that I'm not good enough, and fearing that I'm not loved, and fearing all of these things. And so I filter a lot of what I went through those things. And even though I went to therapy and I wrote my books and I thought, Good Vibes thought she was healed and she was arrived, something happened in my life that really hurt me, and it shook my trust. And so it sent me back to like 7 years old. I was like, there's nobody in this world I can trust. Like, no matter what I do, no matter how I love, it's just not going to be enough. So I'm not safe in this world. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't love. I'm not going to be loved. Like, I just couldn't understand. Like, to me, it was like, what was the purpose? What are we here for? I didn't even know what I was doing. What's the point of being a good person? Like, I just couldn't get it. And I think being hurt the way I was hurt shook me. And so I had to go deeper into therapy, and I had to talk more about the daily struggles that I thought were normal. I never talked about the anxiety, not being able to sleep for days, not being able to eat for days, feeling like I was going to have diarrhea every time the phone rang or somebody called and tell, hey, I want to talk to you. I got to tell you something. It could have been great news. I don't know. I'm ready to throw up. My mouth is watery. I want to throw up. I'm not answering the phone. I'm scared to answer the phone. I'm jumpy all the time. And so when I told my therapist this was my daily life, she was like, every day? I'm like, yes, this is my baseline. She goes, okay, no, hold on a minute. I'm going to ask you these questions. On a scale of 1 to 5, how many times do you repeat the same thought? How many times do you do this? And I'm just answering like normal. And she's going, okay, this is bad. How are you feeling last week?
Right.
Like this. Right. This is normal. She goes, people don't feel like this every day. And poof, I was like, they don't? I thought this was life. I thought all that struggle and that stuff.
I thought it was too. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, they said, life is hard. So I'm like, okay, life is hard. This is life. And she goes, oh, no, ma'am. But what you going through, this ain't normal. Your baseline is like hospitalization. They wanted me to, file disability, leave work, and go get locked up somewhere. She's like, I can't believe you work like this every day. I said, I do. I get in my car with anxiety. I go to the grocery store with anxiety. And if someone's like Rob said, if someone's not talking to me, or their facial expression looks different, or they kissed me for 2 seconds longer the last time than this time, oh, he don't want me. I would put myself through so much emotional pain, and then I would punish myself for being weak. You're weak. That's why no one's gonna want to be with you, because you're emotional and you're this and you're that. And my therapist told me your reactions are sane reactions to very painful experiences.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Your communication could be improved. Yes. Once your anxiety goes down, you won't be filtering it through you not being enough. But nothing is what you think it is. And so I tried everything but the medication. I was doing, all this holistic herbal, ashwagandha teas. And finally I said, that's the one thing I haven't tried was the medication. And for the first 2 weeks, I was vomiting. I was dizzy. I was sweating. I was like, I'm not doing this mess. I can't do it. And then one day, an hour had passed and I wasn't ruminating. My thoughts were not just rotating. It was quiet. I took a breath and my shoulders were light. I could breathe. And I called my therapist and I said, I took a whole deep breath today and it didn't hurt. She says, what do you mean? I said, well, I breathe shallow, because if I breathe too deep, I can feel the pain. And so I've been breathing shallow. She goes, and then you wonder why you're dizzy?
Right.
Right. And she says, have you eaten today? I don't remember when I last ate. You wonder why you're sick? You wonder why you lose weight? You're not. Right. So it turned into this whole thing. Yeah, so I got an occupational therapist to help me with time management. I have a nutritional therapist who's like, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin B, you're anemic, your blood count is at 8. I can't believe you're awake. You should, all of these things on top of what you're going through. We can't even figure out your mental health because you've been living like this so long that, we don't know what is what. So slowly, surely taking care of each little problem, I am just so light and free. And like I was telling Rob, pre-show, Is life perfect? Hell no. Is there
Right.
things I would normally cry about and worry about all day?
Mhm.
I know they're there, but my
Right.
eyes are open. I'm accepting the experiences. I'm being present in the experiences. It's
Mhm.
almost like being outside of my body and watching myself and
Mhm.
saying, that don't need to be said.
Right.
Even though you want that person to understand you want to tell them all these details. It don't need to be said. Oh, that
Mhm.
hurt. I don't like what was said. But is that person's truth? It is. So could they have said it with more tact? Yes, like Rob said, yes, but that's not my bag. You know what I'm saying? I can only
Mhm.
control me. And the fact
Exactly.
that I know I'm always going to be okay, and I have been okay through all of this, I'm going
Mhm.
to be okay. So I'm able to maneuver through life with a freedom that I didn't have before, an acceptance I didn't have before, and a deeper patience and love and respect for
Mhm.
people that I see are still going through the same thing and still struggling. I look at them like I know this. I know this is not all you. I know this is your pain. This is your
Mhm.
fear. This is your whatever, and it just makes me want to help more. You know, it does make me a lot more realistic. And
Mhm.
I thought I was getting bitter, but I don't think it's bitter. I think I'm just realistic. We're humans. We lie. We hurt people. We do
Right.
things we aren't
Exactly.
supposed to
Mhm.
do. Doesn't mean we're all bad people, but it does mean
Right.
that I need to protect myself better. I need to be more aware. I can't love people out of whatever they're going through. I can be there and be supportive, but I can't love it away and I can't take it upon myself and I can't light myself on fire to keep the people that I love warm.
Yeah.
And I don't feel guilty for not doing that anymore. And I used to because I'm a caretaker. So if I didn't fix it, I felt guilty. I don't
Right.
feel like that anymore. And having that weight lifted
Mhm.
has totally taken good vibes to a whole nother level. I'm in this house laughing to myself. I'm
Mhm.
walking around in this house naked. Okay. The
Mhm.
incense is burning. The music is on. I'm looking in the mirror like, damn, why did I think I was ugly? Why did I think I was fat? Like I was really tripping. So
Yeah. Let me give a hand. I got to give a hand clap to both of y'all.
I'm good. So it's
Yeah.
your turn.
Right.
Your
We
turn,
got
boss. What's up?
yeah,
How
yeah,
you
yeah.
been?
I've been good. I've been good. I'm gonna come back to me in a second. Um, we got a question from EL. I was gonna actually ask both of y'all that, but before that question, I got something question for both of y'all because both of y'all said the same thing that if somebody said you don't love if somebody didn't reply a certain way, didn't act a certain way, it made you feel like you didn't love me. So Rob, if you'll go first, because I'm curious to hear from a man's perspective, what
Yes,
does
that's
that
why I love
feel
y'all.
like? Because what I'm saying, I can imagine what women may attempt to do, and what I'm saying, it may not come across as the way they wanted it to.
How does what feel?
Basically, when you mentioned that if somebody doesn't say something a certain way, you may feel like they don't love you,
Mhm.
or they don't react a certain way, you may feel like they don't love you. Like, can you give me an example of like what's something someone would do that would make you feel that way?
So I'm a believer. So for me, right? So most of my life, man, I've done what I call protective things. Like I'm always trying
Mhm.
to be ahead of shit. So
Mhm.
uh at a young age, my dad taught me to look at people and how to observe people at a very young age. So I look for patterns. So though every little thing a person is doing, I'm storing it as patterns. So the
Mhm.
moment that you deviate from a pattern, that alarms me to believe that there's something up. And then because the way that I am is when
Mhm.
you deviate, I ask the point blank question, like,
Mhm.
is there something wrong or is there something up?
Excuse
Um,
me. Mhm.
but yeah, just like for example, if you used to doing something a certain way for me and then you don't do it like that or you don't do it at all anymore, then my mind starts to say like, well, this is some shit you used to love to do. So
Mhm.
now you don't love to do it, you know? So I'm wondering, like, did I do something? Is there something wrong? Like, is there an explanation behind this or whatever? And sometimes, my mind be working so much, I start correlating things and tying shit, like shit that
Yep.
probably don't even need to be tied together. Like,
Yep.
oh, I remember now, like you mad about this shit the other day, and you just tied this shit into that, right? So then now
Mhm.
my mind is already now like, but I just asked you and you ain't said nothing. But I know what the fuck on your mind. I know is
Right.
the reason why you mad. So I don't know why you won't tell me that that's the reason why you mad. And I always felt like, damn, they not being truthful. But at the same time, like I understand now, like you can't tell a motherfucker what's in their mind. They might not have really been thinking like that.
Right.
But because I'm looking at the patterns of what you doing, because I not only look at the patterns of other people and what they do, but my patterns as well. So I'm very cognizant of making sure that I do certain things so that it don't throw them off to make them feel that way.
Yes.
So
That's
like
work,
these are
though.
the thoughts going through my mind the whole time. Like, yo, if I do this differently, maybe she will question me about why am I doing it differently. So let me do it the same way. It's like, making a person a peanut butter and jelly sandwich a lot of times, and then one time you bring in, they like, oh, I want ham and cheese. Like
Right.
that's how it is with the whole pattern. So then my mind literally would say, why you want ham and cheese? I would probably honestly, before I got medicated, I would take that shit personal. Cause I would have said like, why you ain't tell me you ain't want you ain't want peanut butter and jelly? You
Right.
could have told me that if I made this damn sandwich. But really in my mind, I probably should have asked you each time,
What you
like, hey,
wanted?
do you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, instead of assuming? But
Yes,
this is the
sir.
shit. This is the shit that my mind used to have me fooled and thinking shit. Like, I'm taking everything personal. Like, oh, it could have just been she had a bad day and she didn't want to come in the door and give you a kiss. But I took that shit like, wait, hold on, what's going on?
Oh, you gotta kiss me.
What go on at work and what you coming to kissing me is two motherfucking different things. So now I'm feeling like you must have something wrong with me.
Right.
So what's going on with me? It could just be shit. I want to get upstairs, get out this bra and take a shower and
Right.
whatever.
Yeah,
And my mind might have been thinking on hurry up getting my clothes because I got something else to do. And you might have just forgot. But that one time that might trigger me to be like, wait, hold on. What's going on?
Right.
And for me, man, the bad thing is like once that train get rolling, that motherfucker get rolling.
Stop it.
Exactly.
There's no break.
It's hard to stop that mug because I'll be in the room and see. For me, a lot of times, like before, I would let shit brew. So I'm letting that shit brew. Like, you tying shit together, let me let this shit brew and tie together in my head too.
Right.
And that's why, somebody put something today about what is it? You have to leave. What is it? Leave pride.
You have to leave ego at the door to enter love or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my fucking ego kicked in way too much. And it's because one, like literally my mind thought I was right about every fucking thing. Like literally, I don't give a damn what you talking about. Like I thought I was right about everything. Yep. And it's because like I said, if I'm right, I don't have to worry about being wrong. If I'm wrong, I got to worry about what kind of emotion I got to process in my fucking head to go with that. Am I depressed because I'm wrong? And do I need to go figure out? Do I need to have a conversation? Like, that's why I try to explain to people, literally, my fucking mind is processing this shit like that on the fly. Like, multiple questions. Oh, why did she do this? Let me ask her this. Oh, I looked at her. When she answered, her body language looked like she wasn't telling me the real deal. So now I'm asking another question, another question, another question. Now, like, I feel like I'm more of a, like, I could pace myself with that shit because before, with so much shit popping in your head, I ain't give nobody no chance to respond. Like,
I'm not thinking clearly either.
Yeah, and I'm like, shit, I'm trying to get my point across. So like, there's shit popping in my head. I don't give a damn if you talking or not. I'm interjecting because I need to get it across.
Yeah.
And and even though sometimes I had the best of intention at heart, dog, like I couldn't control my mind and wanting to be right or wanting to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. Like,
I know what you're saying. I'm gonna stop you just a second, Rob. So good kid. I want to hear from a woman's perspective, and then we're gonna come back to, because you going into the next question.
He's pretty much in the next question already.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that. Well, okay, for me, my ex-partners are a lot like Rob. So when I talk to Rob, I love that he can explain all the things I was confused about, right? Because I have a partner that, in the morning he'd wake up, hey, how you doing, babe? Good morning. What? By the time I get downstairs to make the toast, he's pissed. I don't know why he's pissed. I don't know what he did. I'm going through a list of things, trying to figure out what it was that I did. And I know I didn't do anything, but I will find something that I did. And then I spend the rest of the day trying to appease him for something that I didn't even do. And because the appeasing felt good to him because he was abused as a child, he feeds off the appeasing. So he triggers me to feel bad so that I can appease him. And then we go into this ugly ass cycle. And then one day I wake up and I hate my own guts and I don't know why. So that was the pattern that I broke, in the time. I mean, if you've known me on the podcast, I took a couple of years off the whole relationship thing and meditated and did my thing. So I thought I was good, but I didn't realize that some things were still there. Those the insecurity about where I stood with a person. In my family, people aren't honest. It's rude to be honest in a certain way. Like the elders can be rude and nasty to you, but you can't be nasty back to them.
Wow,
so I struggled with people telling me things were okay and then they weren't okay. So I have a whole lifetime of that. So when I meet my partners and they tell me that everything is okay, but my intuition is saying it's not okay. And then later on, I find out that it was never okay, but they either didn't want to hurt me or they were lying or, it's not always, sinister stuff. Some things were just innocent. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to stress you out. Then I can't trust what anybody says. And when you can't trust your own perception of things, then you have to go through all these scenarios in your head so that you have gone through every possible scenario and emotionally prepared for it. So I would prepare for 10 different scenarios without ever talking to the person to see what the issue really was. And so now I'm just learning that I can't really do anything about people who don't want to be transparent or people who say they're okay because they don't have the words or they haven't figured out the emotions yet. It's unsafe, but life is unsafe. I can't control. So relinquishing the control has made things a little better. But as a woman with this type of situation, it turns you into a virtual doormat and you don't realize how bad it's gotten until you're almost going to lose your mind. And I think the partners don't even realize either. Even when they mean to do you harm, they don't mean to harm you that way. But that's just the result that happens. My diagnoses are PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, ADHD, and depression. So I'm gonna use peanut butter jelly as an analogy. So I was gonna make my partner a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay. If I have more than one type of bread, I'm gonna be in the kitchen debating which type of bread. I don't want to ask him because I'm afraid he's gonna snap at me if I choose the wrong bread, or he's going to think I don't love him because I should already know the right bread, because my ex-partner would do that to me. You must not love me or care because you brought me.
You don't know what type of bread that I normally eat.
My mother would do the same thing. My father would do the same thing. So I'm on eggshells trying to figure out which type of bread. Then it's which type of jelly. Then it's how thick to put the peanut butter or the jelly. Then it's like, what am I going to do to the crust? Am I going to cut the crust or not cut the crust? And am I doing triangles or rectangles? I'm going through all of this. And every decision throughout the whole entire day, when it deals with somebody other than me, is like that.
Facts.
Bring me something to drink. I'm like, what should I get? Should I get him a beer?
Facts.
I mean,
that's exactly how it be.
Your brain is
even
like
if
this
the
all
person
day.
is so even if the person is just like, just give me water, you
cold water, ice water,
bottled
water, tap water. The thin glass or the thick glass. Or are you one of those men who want to drink out of a cup, a big old plastic cup with some kind of logo on it that when I smell it, I don't want to give it to you, but you say you like that cup. Man, listen.
That's why I used to ask people like all the questions up front, like, hey, do you want some water in a glass with some ice and all of that?
They look at you crazy though.
Because when I come back, right, and you ask for it, now you finna trigger me because I'm be like, why the fuck you didn't tell me that shit before I went down there? Because we could have curbed all that. And I get where she coming from though, because like as a man, my mind would say, you already know how I am. You know that I was going to ask you all that anyway. So why you didn't just tell me that from the rip? So now I got to go back downstairs again. And it don't matter. Like I could be, oh, I love you and I want to do it for you no matter what. But my mind's still going to be like, come on, you know how I am. You know dang well you should have told me what cup you wanted with the ice and all of that. Like,
So if because both of y'all kind of went right into
Yeah.
how it affects your relationship, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So does it almost make you become like extremely detail oriented
Yes.
in a relationship to the point to where it almost what's the word I'm looking for?
It's consuming.
Yeah, exactly. To the point it almost consumes you because
Yes.
you're trying to make sure. So
Imagine having to know everything so you prevent shit from happening.
They may or may
So
not even
I
gonna
need to know
happen. You
how
just
you
think it's gonna
feel.
happen. Yeah.
I need to know how
Right.
you feel at all times, like all times. Because
Mhm.
right now, I see you on the couch and you took 2 deep breaths. What's going on? Like
Yes.
literally, I'd be like it's like that.
Wow, that's really amazing. So as far as a partner in a relationship, how does that affect? And either one of y'all can go. This y'all show this time. I'm not even going to jump in. I got my issues, but you know what I'm saying, for interest of time, I'm gonna
I
let
knew you
y'all
were gonna do that when you said y'all go first. I know you want to
let
dig.
y'all
You're
rock and roll.
you're in the thinking mode and you want to dig. So you want to dig. You don't want to talk, but you want to dig. Go ahead and dig, bro.
But so from a from having a partner, how does that affect your relationship? You know what I'm saying? Because what you guys experience are mentioning, I've been in relationships with people like that, and I know for me it's extremely frustrating because they feel like they always need to be right. They feel like, well, I over explained it to you, so you should understand, and it
That
almost
part is me.
becomes it almost from what I've found becomes like a battle of control and a battle of who's right and who's wrong, and one person naturally will say it's not me. So for y'all, how does that affect, or has that affected your relationships?
Go ahead, good.
For me, my partners have voiced that they're afraid to hurt my feelings because they don't want to see what it looks like. It doesn't look good. When my feelings are hurt, I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating. It's a scary thing for someone who has never seen somebody take on pain the way I take on pain. And the small things that a partner may do, they link in a weird way to other deeper pain. And because I never expressed that pain back then or got healed from that pain back then, that pain becomes this pain. And that's why it's big. And they're like, I just said something to you. Why are you sobbing? Why are you crying? Because it took me back. And I go from being, good vibes in her 40s to Kelly in 7, 8, 9, 10, being confused and wanting to be hugged and nobody is going to hug me, like this type of stuff. So it puts a lot of responsibility on a partner's shoulders. And then they're not being honest with me. And by the time they're being honest with me, I'm mad because I knew something was wrong and it causes me to overthink again. Because if I had just went with my gut instead of believing that person, I wouldn't be hurt right now because I knew something was up. And so it just to me confirms that I need to be crazy because people aren't going to be honest with me. But that's human nature. I'm never going to be completely safe. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the safety that we didn't get. And we can't expect another person to give us that, especially if the person wasn't safe when they were growing up. They can't make us feel safe because they're unsafe too. So here we are, 2 unsafe people expecting the other person to make us feel safe. And because our experiences are different, we can't understand what the other person is saying. Like we talked about earlier behind the scenes, we filter what we're experiencing through what we've been through. So you could be saying, baby, I love you, I'm never going to leave you. And the person may hear something else, something totally different than what you said. And they respond to you based on what they think you said or what they felt you say. And then you're just going like this. And it makes you feel, okay, he don't understand me. He don't love me. She don't understand me. She don't love me. And you break up, you go get healing. You realize nothing is wrong with you or that person, but you've hurt each other too bad. It's too late. So you try to pick a better partner. You do a little better next time. You run into the same thing. You start over. You pick somebody a little better. It lasts longer, and then it happens again. And so,
and I found the end state for a lot of people, they tend to pick someone that basically becomes a doormat for them. And
I'm the door. I'm the door.
I
have been. I'm not going to be no more.
So they kind of allow them to do any and everything, agree with any and everything that they want
to be safe.
They feel, well, you know what, this person made me safe, not realizing that, you know what, it was okay for this person to have an opinion that was different from mine. It was
Yes, they
okay
should.
for this person to have their own life, to have their own personality. But you know, one thing one of my friends said, which I thought was interesting. I'm gonna go back to you, Rob. He said he's been married for some years, right? And I forgot what we were talking about, but he said, you know what? She's made me feel bad long enough to the point that I don't even care. I'm just like, okay, whatever you want to do. You want to get a new bed? Okay, all right, fine. You want to get a new car? Okay, all right, fine. And I was like, you know what? You just kind of living in this bubble, and are you happy or not? And he was like, it's not even about happiness or not. It's just, you know what? We're getting by. We do things, blah 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 blah. We do things, have sex. You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of get by life that way, and that works for me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, that's really really interesting. And then another friend, and I'm gonna get her on here. I know she ain't listening now, but I told her I'm gonna get her on here. Um, she said that she knew she created, she basically created the husband that she wanted, meaning that, you know what, she made a little more than him. She was a little more outgoing. If he didn't do things as fast enough for her, then she would do it her way. She knew that it emasculated him, but she didn't care because it was all about getting her way. You know what I'm saying? If he said no this or no that, then basically she would act spoiled and he would still get her way. Then she realized 15 years later, I'm not happy and I don't even want to be with this person. And now he won't be the person that I really need. And she said, you know what? I had to really sit down and say, you know what? I built this person. I created,
Yes.
this was the person I wanted. I created. So now, you know what I'm saying? I don't want him. And now I'm ready to move on to the next person. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
happened to me. I have been that person. I turn into whatever they want, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't want to. You're boring. You're this. You're that." And I'm like, "This is what you said you wanted." You know. So yeah, totally feel that.
Yeah, and I brought that point out because I know, Rob, you've mentioned in the past that you also was a narcissist, and in my opinion, that's kind of narcissistic personalities as well. But you know, same question to you: like, how has your mental illness affected relationships?
Well, you know, now that I'm medicated and I really look back on life, I would say that I'm probably wasn't a narcissist, but I was very arrogant. And
Okay.
arrogance carried to me some of them traits of,
Hmm.
being full of yourself and stuff like that. But like for me, um, my mental illness was more like imagine wanting to love someone, but knowing you gonna fuck it up somehow. And that's literally how I lived my life through relationships for most of my relationships, like just trying not to fuck it up.
Hmm.
Because when you arrogant, like you consume with you being right, you consume with what's working for you and what's going to make you happy,
Hmm.
and just struggling with putting other people first. I think what happened was when I was young, I had a traumatic experience when I was about to get married. Shit went bad, and there's some situation happened. But anyway, that was the turning point for me
Right.
with women. Because prior to that, I was like real lovey dovey, like very cuddly and all of that. And after that, I hit a turning point where it was just like, I don't want to show no love.
Right.
And what I mean by that is the moment that women started showing me any love, any attention, or anything, like, oh, time to get that cold shoulder, time to be cold about it, or whatever, right? And
Hmm.
just over the years, just constant repetition of that, like constant repetition. Like I could understand where good coming from. It's good to hear some of the stuff that she say because now it
Hmm.
resonates with me of how I made women feel.
Hmm.
So I can only ask for myself for forgiveness, but at the same time, like I understand where she coming from now and how women went through different emotions and feelings. And I really didn't give a fuck when I was young, and it
Hmm.
wasn't that I didn't give a fuck, but you gotta understand with mental illness like ADHD and stuff, right? The same way that other people could sit down and have a sobbing conversation and shit, that shit might work for them. But for me, when somebody crying, I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
I
about
think,
consoling. I don't
yeah, I
know
think
about
that's
consoling.
most men.
Yeah. Nah, but I didn't know about consoling. I ain't really know about being like cuddling and all of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that I ain't want the shit. I just never,
Knew how
uh,
to do it.
I never knew how to do it. But also too, right, because I never really had it happen to me a whole lot coming up in life. I can't I can't understand the gratification you getting from it or what
Mm-hmm.
other people are getting from it for it to
Mm-hmm.
resonate with me. You know why? Because I've been functioning through this whole motherfucking life without it. So
Mm-hmm.
because I've been functioning without this shit,
Don't
Right.
what's
need
it
it.
gonna do for me now?
Yes.
What is
Right.
it bringing? What added value is that bringing to me now? But also too, like I said, like for me, I didn't understand put somebody else's shit before my own to understand what it was gonna do for them. Because
Mm-hmm.
functionally, it ain't making fucking sense to me. Like, what's it gonna do? You hugged me, it didn't make me fucking feel warm, fuzzy, or whatever everybody think it does.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why do you need it from me? Why do I got to give it to you? What I don't know what
Because I love you, and you're
you're
going to be
still
the person that I want it
Right.
most from.
you're still gonna
Mm-hmm.
be laying on this fucking couch watching the same movie. Like that's
Right.
how my mind would think
Yeah.
because
Right.
my
Mm-hmm.
mind thinks functionally. Like what function does this bring? Is there an added value to what is occurring or what is happening? Like I say I love you. Is there an added value? Did that make you feel warm? Because
Mm-hmm.
like everybody don't get moved by I love you. Some
Right.
don't get moved by hugs and kisses. So like you gotta understand like I didn't get moved by that stuff because it ain't really occurred to me in life enough for me to understand how it's supposed to resonate with me.
Right.
And then what I don't want to do is start now hypothesizing 20 fucking thousand things on how I should feel when I do get the fucking hug. Because now I'm like, oh well, you know, when she hugged me, maybe I should have hugged her like 5 seconds longer, and that would have made it be more loving even though I
Mm-hmm.
gripped her ass and I hugged her real hard and gave her a kiss on the neck. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe I should have did this and it would have
Mm-hmm.
really showed the love. Like it's always feeling like there's something else extra that you
Like
gotta
you could
do.
have
That you
done.
got to do. Yep.
Yeah.
You
So
haven't done enough
Yeah.
yet.
But
Yes.
yeah, and you always feel that. And it's like sometimes that's a lot of pressure, man. Like that's a
mm-hmm.
lot of pressure, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what a lot of men go through, especially when they're trying to date women, is
Mm-hmm.
the pressure of shit got motherfuckers not knowing what to do, and we just doing what we know.
Or
And that's why
nothing.
you get men that are like, shit, I'm used to coming at these, I'm just gonna use this word. I'm used to coming at these hoes a certain way. Yeah, bro, you used to coming at these hoes, but now you talking about looking for a lady that you want to be with in the long term and wife. You don't want to call your future wife the hoes. So like you trying to look at stuff differently, but you still utilizing that same old mind frame, you know?
But
So that's kind of like what the concept is with this. Like I'm trying to move from old mindsets because I don't really think the
Yes.
same way. It don't really work and process the same
Reach,
way
Rob.
anymore. And it's gonna be
Yes,
hard
sir.
for some people to really see it because it's gonna be like, you know, I can't see it like you say, oh, it's functional. Like I can't really see it, but it feel way different, like way different.
right. Yeah. No, I understand because like for me, right, I grew up in a real loving family. So for me, hugs, kisses, a good morning and a good night mean the world to me. You ain't even gotta have sex with me. You do those 4 things, and I feel like you actually like me. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes, I do.
if you don't do those 4 things, then I feel like, you know what? I told you this is what's important to me. You don't do it. You're intentionally not doing it. So you're intentionally trying to push me away. You know what I'm saying? And my brain already half crazy anyway, but it plays a lot of tricks on me because it's like, okay, well, you know what? If you intentionally pushing me away, I'm just gonna do some shit to make you push me the fuck away. You know what I'm saying? Let's just
Mhm.
you wanna intentionally push me away, all right? Well, how about this? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure I push you completely away because now it puts me in a safe space. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right. You
now I don't
already
have
have
to
your
feel
barriers up. You already prepared. So
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying. So now I don't have to tie my nights up. You know what I'm saying? I just put on some flip flops and just keep going. You know what I'm saying? But
yes.
but um but hearing what both of you are saying, right? I wonder. Let's talk about communication in a relationship. And thank y'all for sticking around. We're gonna wrap it up soon, but this is a good one. This really some good information. I've actually learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? Forgive my camera. This is my special
Look, bro, your
laptop.
camera is cloudy. Your allergies are kicking your butt, but
Yeah,
you are
that's why.
here and you are digging, and it's
Yeah,
important information. So
yeah.
we're gonna roll with it. It's all good.
Yeah, I got the Vaseline camera though. I look like I've been doing something on this
Stop
camera.
saying
So
Mm.
but you know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking about it and I'm hearing what you're saying and even thinking about myself, you know what I'm saying, with the anxiety, depression, you know, really those two, the anxiety and depression, how does that affect how you communicate with your partner and how you are able to receive what your partner is saying? Because I know dealing with someone, if I say this and they've already formulated
it. Yes.
17 different stories that they didn't communicate, and then it's like, you know, you snapping, and I'm like, yo, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? And I'm the king of shut down. I don't like to argue. I don't like to do any of that. So it's just like, all right, we ain't got to talk. If we don't talk for the rest of the year, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Mm.
not good, but you know what I'm saying? But
I
how but
know. I've been there with a person before.
what's
It's
your
not fun.
yeah, what's your communication style and how does that affect, you know what I'm saying, what you
Okay.
receive
I
from your
understand. I'm,
partner?
I'm gonna give a couple of examples. They're real. They're probably funny to a lot of people, but they're real.
Hmm.
So if okay, I'm just gonna use an example. I had a partner and he said something to the effect of it's okay to dress sexier. You know, it's okay to dress sexier for me, or something to that effect.
Hmm.
And I'm a former Nation of Islam. So, it took me a long time to get to the point where I wore things sexy. Like I wear crop tops and all kind of nonsense now that I never would have worn before. So I have gone a long way to get to where I'm comfortable, with my sexuality, with my body, with all of that. So
Hmm.
I didn't hear, it's okay to dress sexier for me, and nothing is wrong with how you dress now. Okay, I didn't hear, even though that wasn't said, I think that was the thought process in his mind. All I heard was, you are not sexy. The way you dress does not appeal to me. You are not womanly, you are homely. And I took it into he never said those words to me, but that's what I got out of it. That's what I got out of it. So some things they're said to me, I'm taking it some other type of way, you know. And because I've thought about the 20 different ways to do something, when you point out that I didn't do something, it's a failure to me. Because I'm like,
Hmm.
I didn't think of way 21.
Yep.
I wore the lingerie. I did this. I put the, I put the, the butt plug in with the rainbow colors. I did all of these things for you, and you bring up the one thing or something that's personal to you, and it's not an attack on me. It's just I like this. I don't hear I like this. I hear I didn't like anything else you did. And so I respond in that way, either with defensiveness, which turns most men off immediately. So the conversation is over. My partner puts his head down. He's got his head here. I know it's done. I fucked up. He don't want to talk no more. I still want to talk. He don't want to talk. And we didn't hear each other at all. And he's sitting there confused, like, all I did was tell you what I
What the
like.
heck? Right. What just
How did we
happened?
get here? So now that I'm on medication, I just breathe through it. So I do my
Hmm.
medication, but my therapist have a spiritual
Gotcha.
attitude. So I'm grateful for that. So my therapist know how I get down. So she said,
Right.
when you hear something and your ears start burning and getting hot,
Hmm.
do your breathing. Let him finish. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And the first emotions you feel, don't take those in because you don't know if they're real or not. That's your
Right.
response.
Right.
Listen to what he said And if you think he's saying something about you personally, then ask, are you saying that I? So that he can say, no, I'm saying I lie. And then you can possibly get to the point where you understand what is being said and you're not responding. And then if you want him to understand, then you can tell him, okay, I initially thought or I initially felt that, but I'm not even going to do that anymore because some men just can't handle you telling them what you were initially thinking because you're like, what? You know, you're insecure, you're this, you're that. So I have to kind of figure out how much to tell a person, how emotionally mature they are to handle what I'm saying. And like Rob said, this desire to be understood comes from being ignored and, you know, as a child. So I need to get over the desire for someone to know exactly what I feel. There's no way for anyone to know exactly what I feel. I can try, but they cannot. And if I don't get over that, I'm always going to feel misunderstood, unloved, alone. And he's a human being. He didn't experience what I experienced. We didn't grow up the same way. He's not going to understand everything. And I didn't think that was okay before. It was life or death to me. Like life or death.
Yeah.
And now I'm
we
just
go
like,
together or we don't. That's it.
Right. And now I'm just like, oh
my goodness. Let's just
thinks,
break up.
Right. He thinks differently. He this, he that. I can't do nothing about that. And being able to process that, like, it makes me feel like I am the shit. Like, you can't tell me nothing, okay? I felt more OG, more gangster now on my medication than I ever have hanging out on the block, drinking 40, smoking beaties, you know, doing what I used to do. I feel more gangster now. You cannot tell me shit now. Okay, I'm ready to use all my skills. I'm ready to love the way I've always loved and get it back without all this worry and stress and this shit that I was going through. I'm ready. I'm happy.
Right. That's beautiful. What about you, Rob? Your you know what I'm saying? I think we know your communication style was, you know, I'm keeping it 1,000 wow, you know what I mean?
Yes, my brother.
But you know, as far as communication from your partner, you know what I'm saying? Like, what type of things would automatically trigger you versus now you sit back and say, damn, you know what I'm saying? This is all she was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are those communication struggles?
I would say probably a lot of my the struggles I have with women is like I think they don't be wanting to engage in the conversation sometimes, like, because they know, like, I'm like a motherfucking detective lawyer, and because I'm transparent, so we don't need to really have 15 motherfucking questions to find out what's really the problem and what's wrong with you. I feel like everybody should be able to express themselves like I do, and that's probably what my number one problem is that everybody isn't gonna let shit just bubble up fast like that and respond. But my mind says that if you are running around and saying you want to talk about things and you talk about things and transparency and all that, I'm being transparent. Let's be transparent. And I feel like when you acting like you don't want to be transparent, then now I got to ask probing questions because you don't want to be forthcoming with what's wrong. So let me ask these probing questions. The hard part about it is I ask a question. And if you ain't responded fast enough, by that time I already developed 2 more questions, and they fixing to fly back to back like that. So like you got to keep up with that shit. And if you stuck on number 1, I'm already on number 4. Matter of fact, I just crossed number 1 off and don't even need that fucking answer no more. Now I need 2, 3, and 4.
Right, so because like, 2 already answered number 1.
And she's sitting back confused, like, what the hell just happened?
Matter of fact, if you took too motherfucking long, I answered number 1 on assumptions. So shit, I might have answered number 1, number 2, and number 3. I might have answered number 1, 2, and 3 on assumptions because your body language, your breathing, all that shit changed. All right, assumption number 1 is correct. Assumption number 2 is correct.
Right, yeah. Now,
yes,
interrogation.
That's what someone told me. Rob, you are explaining me to a T just with that. I'm just going, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. No, it's not a good thing at all. But
it's not.
Like, I think the only time I'm gonna really go in interrogation mode is because I ask you, like, hey, what was the deal? Like, and especially if something is a fact. And what I mean by a fact, if you said it, we both saw the shit together or whatever, why are we sitting here pondering about what the response gonna be?
But let me ask you a question, and I don't mean to cut you off. You saying pondering about the response going to be, but do you, but are you? Can you see that how coming at somebody with 5 questions back to back would feel like an interrogation and instantly put somebody on the defense? Because I've had partners like that, and it instantly puts me on the defense. And either I'm like, look, I said what I fucking said, or I just walk away and I don't say nothing.
So like, I think people have to understand how I come at shit first. Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit down with you, right? I'm not no get brash and shit right off the bat type person. I'm gonna sit down with you and be like, hey, look, I noticed da 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 da. You know, I just want to give you the opportunity and the floor to be able to express if there's something wrong so that we could talk about this shit. Because I don't want, because you got to think, right? Remember, I have anxiety. So as I'm continuously trying to figure out in my head what's going on, because you won't tell me, it's continuously making me feel worse and worse and worse. So that's why I just go ahead and jump the fuck into the pool and say, what's the problem? Because right now the anxiety is motherfucking overwhelming me so much right now. Just tell me so that I can get this shit to subside, or we can discuss it, whatever. But right now, because you ain't saying nothing, there's 3 things in my head and they're all negative, and I'm trying to figure out and flush out that it's not them 3, but you ain't giving me no fucking help with flushing them out now.
Tell it.
You ain't helping me
It
flush
ain't
them out.
just
So while
us.
you being
Tell it.
quiet and you don't want to respond to question number 1 and 2, that's what threw these 3 out there now. And like I said, it is an interrogation, because before, like I said, I'm trying to protect myself from something happening, or from me feeling bad from you giving me anxiety by not wanting to answer honestly or answer at all. So like, I'm going through shit while we having this conversation, and while we building up to it. Like, I had anxiety to ask your ass, but since you wasn't gonna interject and say nothing, I got to do something with this shit. I got to do something with it. So let me go ahead and be the one that's gonna kill the elephant in the room and be like, yo, what's the problem? What is it? Let me know. Is it something? Whatever it is, let's just talk about it. Right? But then you get people who maybe through life or through traumas or anything felt like A, they couldn't say nothing to their partner, or B, they couldn't never be boisterous about stuff or whatever, so they become hesitant to say something. And I'm very instrumental with saying, you can tell me exactly how you feel. What you have to understand is A, I don't have to agree with it, and B, I might have a response. It don't negate you still believing that and you wanting to feel that way, or me negating you feeling that way. But I'm entitled to not like it or agree with it or whatever. I'm entitled to have a response back to you. That don't mean don't bring shit to me. No, bring
Ain't
it to
have
me so
to,
that we can
please.
talk about it, get that shit out in the open. We can come to understanding, and boom, now we know next time that's how you feel, this how I feel. I know to avoid this or to do this or not. That's how I'm used to resolving stuff, man. But I
Look,
realize a lot of people, a lot of men in their life have not been given their women the ability to discuss shit with them, and they automatically control the narrative in the situation. And I was that dude. That's why I give that open floor, because I realize what I used to be and what other people I know are, and they don't give them a voice. And I try to, but at the same time, my mind of being caring and tried to, and anxiety, ADHD, and bipolar over here, after a while, they gonna fucking take over.
right,
They
right,
gonna take over and be like, you know what? This shit over here, this taking too long. We finna get to the nitty gritty and get this shit done and get it out in the open. And
right.
that's
No,
usually when people get the negative response and all that stuff. And then what happens, what people, a lot of folks don't know is, I feel fucking extremely bad.
mm-hmm.
Extreme. There's
Right.
been many times I'd have said something that I know probably hurt somebody's feelings, or it was a conversation that they didn't want to have, or I made a bad assumption. And they might think that, oh, this is a cold-hearted motherfucker. Nope. I laid my ass up in bed for 4 fucking hours playing through everything over and over and over again to figure out
Right.
whether I
Yeah,
was
fucking
right,
sleep.
wrong. Did I hurt your feelings? Were my feelings hurt? Because a lot of
Right.
times we don't analyze whether our feelings as men were hurt, to be able to say, you know what, I did respond that way because she hurt my feelings with what she said. Because women hurt our feelings. Like motherfuckers don't acknowledge that they
We
hurt our
do.
feelings.
Yeah. What I think women hurt our feelings more than we hurt their feelings, honestly. And that's one of my, 97% DAC
Stats,
analysis.
the DAX stat,
But
unofficial DAX
right.
stat.
But I was thinking about this the other day, right? And it was two things. One, I think, and I forgot to post this too, but one, I think a lot of people are still hurt from, like Good said, their childhood being that 8, 9 year old, 10 year old boy or girl. You know what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying? And they're still carrying the weight of that on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was narcissistic parents, whether it was parents who weren't there, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was, you basically had to go out there in the streets and fend for yourself. And a lot of people are walking around carrying that. But additionally, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna be a little biased because I'm a man. Um, a lot of men weren't really raised on how to take care of a woman.
True.
Give you an example. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in New York, we rode the trains. So when I moved down south, and a girl was like, you know what I'm saying, a woman was like, why you don't open the door for me? I'm like, I didn't grow up opening doors. So it's not something that comes natural to me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see anybody opening doors, and she immediately looked at me like, what's wrong with you? Why you don't notice? Where'd you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happens with a lot of men, and why men tend to even go deeper into
Their
into
shells.
wearing a mask
Mhm.
and doing whatever, back to what Rob was saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say the same thing to all these, excuse me, all these holes and different things of that nature, because you found this one lane that works. And then when you step back and you want to try something different, it's one thing of a woman saying, hey, this is how I want to be treated, this is how you should treat me. But there's another thing as well, where a man feeling comfortable knowing how to treat a woman. You know what I'm saying? And there's really not a lot of role models, and a lot of men are not in certain circles for them to experience that and
To
learn
see
that.
it,
You
yes.
know what I'm saying?
They can't. They
You
Well,
can't mirror what they don't see.
right. You know.
yeah, I think part of the hard part is man, we put on women to be two roles,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, and like I said, I give my parents grace now. I probably had ADHD at a young age. I was bad as fuck. I fought all the fucking time. I couldn't sit my ass down in school. I talked, got
Mm-hmm.
detention, all that. I think my mom struggled with shit. If I give him a hug after I beat his ass, is he really gonna learn what the fuck
Mm-hmm.
I meant by,
Mm-hmm.
punishing him or giving him that spanking or whatever? Like it's hard because it's like I don't want him to feel like I'm soft, but at the same time, these people keep calling me at my job from his school because his ass keep getting in trouble. So like I feel like my mom was caught in the crossroad of how can I show love to my kid, but also still make sure that I'm on his head because he getting into everything and doing everything. And I see that with some kids these days with their moms. It's like mom got to play mom and dad. So like you got to be the good and the bad. And it's hard sometimes when you want to be a loving and caring mother, but you got to be on your kid head because they ain't listening to shit and they doing whatever they want and all of that. And you still trying to be a parent and raise them, prepare them for the world. In that scheme of things, what we forget is preparing for the world. We don't believe it includes emotionally, right? We just think
Right.
it's, oh, make sure this motherfucker can get a
You got
job and he
food
can
and a
take
place to
care of
live.
himself, wash his clothes, all that shit. Don't nobody talk about preparing people emotionally for the
Right.
world when you leave your parents' house. Because
Yep.
guess what?
Exactly.
To a certain extent, mom and dad been checking some of them fucking emotions. Because they ain't letting you ain't got time to sit up in the house all day with depressive state. They ain't allowing that. You got to go to school. You got to go do this. Like your parents
Mm-hmm.
kept you from being able to sit and stuff for so long. And I'm not saying that people weren't didn't sit in depressive states, but a lot of us didn't really have that opportunity because mom and dad's like, hey, nah, get
Get
this,
your ass up.
get sit
Yeah,
your
yeah,
ass
yeah.
down, all that stuff. So it's like now when you start talking about hugs and loves and attention, like I said, that wasn't no function. It had no functional role. What was it doing? So I think seeing that coming up where it's like, you still grew up and you still was able to handle yourself and you didn't have this. What is the point of it now?
Right.
And before I really like I started taking my medication and stuff, and I was able to really just like focus more, it really didn't make sense to me because I'm like, I got 15 other motherfucking thoughts in my head. If this one thing right here that's so big ain't really doing nothing because it's really not a functional difference, you still gonna live day to day without it. Why are we stressing about it so much? And my mom would say, I'm not about to stress about this shit. So then I just don't really care about it. I don't acknowledge it.
Right.
And now it's kind of like when now my thoughts aren't jumbled up, now I can really process shit like, nah, bro, you need to really attack that. Next time in therapy, you need to really talk about that because you was curving that for a long time. But that's the root of the problem. Not the problem that you seeing and doing, the root of the problem. Because a lot of us ain't getting to the root. We talking about some old surface shit. Nah, you need to talk about the root of why you doing something. Right.
I think what you said, Rob, answers a question that we hit every time we discuss relationships, right? When you have men and women saying, what's in it for me? What do I want a woman for? What do I need a husband for? What do I need a wife for? And I'm like, if you don't know, then you don't need one. And it's the same thing that you said. A person can't know this love and how we would love on them and take care of them. And we know when their medication is out, and we know when they constipated, so we put extra brown rice on their plate without telling them. They don't know the value of these things. So they can't be looking for it. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell somebody, this is the ultimate experience. They're like, well, I've gone through my whole life without that experience and I'm having a good time. And we got to bring back the hoes. I can always find me a hoe to kick it with and I can have a good old time. So what do I need to be with just you for? What is the benefit? And that's probably why, Rob, you probably hit that sucker right on the head. If they haven't had it, men and women, if we haven't had it, then we don't know the value of it. And when we get it, we're going to play with it. Because again, we still don't know the value of it. We're not comfortable with it yet. And if we're not comfortable and knowing we can maintain it or keep it, we're going to fuck it up.
Yeah, and
then, that's why when people be watching them damn sitcoms and TV shows, I'd be like, bro, you trying to live a life over here and you don't have them qualities yet. So you want it, but you don't know how to get that shit for real, right? I always tell folks, like, when y'all watch these TV shows and shit, you basically seeing cutscenes. They ain't showing you the 3 to 4 fucking days in between there where they did the same shit every day and they didn't have the lovey-dovey cutscene. Like, people have to understand that there's a certain level of normalcy that's gonna occur in some of these relationships and stuff like that. It isn't saying that you get complacent, but it's also saying that if I say I want to be with you for life, we got a fucking life.
Yeah, we gotta live. We gotta get up in the morning and go eat dinner and go to bed and take a shower. There's a certain level that's not going to be all fun and games or exciting or whatever you used to do out there when you weren't. Yes,
exactly.
Tell them, Rob. Tell them.
But we've gotten to a point where we have normalized being impatient.
Yes, instant gratification.
You know what I'm saying?
The microwave generation.
And that's something that's really affecting a lot of relationships. You know what I'm saying? Sir. And impatient, you know how many women you hear, you know what I'm saying? And this is a bad analogy, but I think you'll kind of get the point when I'm saying, if I ask him to do something and he doesn't do it within 5 minutes, I go do it myself. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of falls into that point of being impatient. You know what I'm saying? Not asking him, you know what I'm saying, 6 months later because he hasn't done it, but setting realistic expectations. And a lot of times people don't know how to do that. So as a result, you know what I'm saying? If it's not my way, it's the highway. If you don't do it this way, you don't do it that way, then there's a problem. Then my anxiety flares up because of ABCD that you didn't do within the relationship, or you didn't do to, you know what I'm saying? You didn't read my mind to understand that this is what I needed. So, but that's I'm gonna let y'all two give a quick final
Yeah.
thoughts, everybody. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, the problem with that, I feel like the problem with a lot of shit these days, especially when you hear like women, I'm gonna use for example, when women say like, "Yeah, I want somebody to be like my father or my dad." First of all, your motherfucking mom was probably telling your dad the same damn shit.
You just
God
didn't
damn,
see
she
it.
probably was whispering it though because we lived in
Mhm.
a different era and it wasn't put your daddy on Front Street. Like she
Right.
probably told him, "Hey Charles, that fucking trash getting filled up again. I'm trying to cook in here. I can't cook with that trash." Like
Mhm.
they been saying it, so it ain't really like nothing. I don't feel like it's nothing different that is
Mhm.
happening or whatever. It's just how people are looking at shit. Like, like I just said a minute ago about I have to give my parents grace. Like you have to give people grace, man, because some of them they never had shit happen. They never know how to deal with it. None of that shit, man. Like
Mhm. And
and stop putting people in situations on pedestals. That's the problem. Like
mhm.
folks be watching this, watching social media and shit. And like I said, social media to me is like TV shows. They showing cut scenes.
Mhm.
Motherfuckers are showing like they trips and all of that stuff. Yeah, they go through the same average everyday shit everybody else do. Don't get hung up on them fucking trips. Like
Right.
shit, you don't even know if they had a good time on the trip. Like they could have
Right.
been
Mhm.
sleeping. They could have got a double bedroom and motherfuckers in
Yep.
two different beds. Like you don't know. And it ain't
They
your
gonna be.
business to really know, you know what I'm
No, it's
saying? But
not.
you got to lead your shit the way you want to. The problem I feel what happened is when we broke down binary dynamics and what were deemed as specific roles, that shit put shit in a fucking awry. Cause now people don't know what the fuck they supposed to be doing. Whose role is what? Whether she feels like I'm not treating her enough if I got her taking the trash out, and if I don't let her take it out, why? Because she been doing it this whole time. Like, god
Mhm.
damn, like you can't even just be a genuine dude want to take the trash out no more. Cause you got
Right.
some women like shit. I could take my own shit out. I don't need no man for that.
You can take mine
Thanks,
out.
Steve.
I won't argue about that. Mm-mm.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, EL.
Uh,
All right.
Oh, I guess my final thoughts are we're all flawed individuals. And if we can look at those flaws as ugly, or we can look at them as just the scars from the war of living. And if we care about each other, we can help heal some of those scars or mend some of those scars, or sit next to our partners and just love them through it if we know what it is that we're trying to do and what's important to us. And I think we've gotten away from caring about how other people feel and how other people think. We're just going with our blinders. This is what I want. I'm entitled to what I want. And
Mhm.
sometimes what you think you want isn't even what you need. And I think we need to be more present in the experience so that we can see these things, but we can't be present if we're not mentally healthy. So that's what goes back to the mental health episode. You cannot see what's important to you. You cannot see what you don't need. You cannot see your accountability in your own pain. You can't see how you are allowing people to continuously hurt you, and you can't see who you're hurting because your brain is cloudy. And it can be cloudy with mental health issues. It could be cloudy with sex, drugs, selfishness, instant gratification. I hate to be that, that preachy person, but sometimes you got to detox, man. You got to clean out. You got to figure out what's important to you. You got to keep your eyes open, and you have to be blessed to wake up every day with another chance to love, to be happy, and figure out what kind of vibe you want to leave when you leave here. We're not thinking about that. It's just second by second, day by day, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink, what I'm going to dress, who I'm going to have sex with, it's more to life than that. And that's the part I want to get to. I want to get to the good part. I've had enough of the bad part, the insecurity, the fear, the this, the that. My mind is clear, and I want to get to the good part with somebody else who's committed to their mind being clear and getting to the good part. And even though it won't be perfect, we know what imperfect is like. We know what being alone is like. We know what lonely is like. We know what depressed is
Mhm.
like. Who wants to do that, much less do that alone?
Right.
So unless you want to keep on doing it by yourself, you better fix it. You better get some help. You better do something, or else you're gonna live it out alone. And I don't think that's the way it was supposed to be. So that's
Totally
my
agree.
final.
Totally agree. Great synopsis from both of you guys. Appreciate it. Love y'all. You already know. Everybody listen, like, comment, follow, and share. If you enjoyed the conversation tonight, tag some people in it. Share it in your groups. Share it on your page. Tag some people. We didn't get an opportunity to go through some more questions and some more deep diving. I'll say get to the root. I'm deep diving like I'm at work, but some more
Yeah.
questions.
Wrong hat.
So, yeah, so next week, I think it'll be good for us to do a part 2 to this, because there's definitely some unanswered questions, even something as simple as how to deal with somebody with anxiety. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I definitely learned a lot. Really definitely got a different perspective of anxiety from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective, which is shit. Excuse me, which is really great.
You're
And
such
with
a
that-
dad.
and with that, peace. Thank y'all for joining.
Thank y'all. Good night.